Look, if you're tuning into this explainer, there's a really good chance you are just incredibly frustrated. You know the drill. You're putting in the work, you're trying every diet under the sun, sweating through these exhausting workouts, and yet nothing. The scale doesn't budge. It honestly feels like you're fighting a losing battle against your own biology, right? Well, let me just validate that frustration right now. You're actually not doing it wrong. You're just missing the biological key to this whole puzzle. And today, we're going to unlock it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our clear roadmap to solve this biological mystery together. First, the starving cell paradox. Second, the root causes of rejection. Third, the reversal formula. Fourth, nutrients to accelerate healing. And finally, the 7 signs of improvement. So, part 1, the starving cell paradox. It is time to put on our medical detective hats and investigate this biological crime scene that's happening inside your body right now. As a medical detective, your very first question has to be this. Why on earth are your cells starving when you eat? It is the ultimate biological irony. I mean, you put fuel into your system, but your cells are acting like they are literally starving to death while locked inside a fully stocked grocery store. There's food everywhere in the bloodstream, but the cells themselves are totally empty. So what's going on?
Well, the answer lies in a condition you've probably heard of, insulin resistance. Now, by definition, this is a condition where your cells stop absorbing insulin. They have completely locked their doors and are actively rejecting it. And since insulin is the literal key that lets fuel and nutrition into the cell, when it gets rejected, your cells are totally locked out of their food supply. They starve. And here's a startling, actually kind of scary fact. If this resistance happens in your brain, and those brain cells can't get fuel, they die. That starvation of brain cells is actually what leads to Alzheimer's.
And this brilliantly illustrates a super dangerous, self-defeating feedback loop. Step 1, your cells reject the insulin. Step 2, your poor pancreas completely panics because it senses the cells are hungry, so it pumps out 5 to 7 times more insulin than normal. Step 3, this massive, unnatural surge of high insulin starts damaging the body. And finally, step 4, because all that extra insulin still isn't getting into the cells, your blood sugar just keeps rising unchecked. It's a total mess.
Which brings us to part 2, root causes of rejection. This is the interrogation phase of our explainer. We need to figure out exactly who or what is triggering this massive cellular lockdown. The big overarching culprit here, overexposure to insulin. You're basically forcing your body to deal with way too much of it way too often. Now, obviously, chronic consumption of carbohydrates does this, but it's also our modern habit of constant snacking. Seriously. Every single time you snack, you trigger an insulin spike. You are essentially just bombarding your cells over and over until they finally change the locks and say, okay, enough. And right here is where I really want to speak directly to your frustration. If you don't fix this underlying overexposure, you are simply not going to lose weight. All those grueling, intense workouts you're doing, honestly, they're a waste of time if your insulin levels are sky high. And all those standard diets, you won't stick to them and they won't work. Because that high insulin completely blocks weight loss and leaves your starving cells perpetually hungry. You just can't win a fight against your own hormones.
All right, part 3, the reversal formula. Let's shift the energy and focus on the solution. I want to introduce Dr. Berg's specific protocol to heal the body and get those cellular doors wedged back open.
But first, let's set some realistic expectations with a timeline. Healing takes time. According to Dr. Berg, the absolute minimum time to reverse insulin resistance is about 3 months. On average, you are looking at around 8 or more months to fully reverse it and pre-diabetes. But listen, if you're dealing with really severe, long-term issues like type 2 diabetes or stubborn blood pressure problems, expect to dedicate up to a year to truly control and heal this condition. Patience is absolutely going to be your best friend here.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the data breakdown. Check this out. If you just do the keto diet on its own, you might see a 20 to 30% improvement. It definitely helps, but it's just a piece of the puzzle. Intermittent fasting alone, that is a powerhouse, driving a massive 60% improvement. But when you combine them synergistically into what we call healthy keto eating, the right foods alongside fasting, you hit a 90+% success rate for reversing this condition. It's a complete game changer.
Let's move to part 4, nutrients to accelerate healing. We want to speed up this process, right? So what specific biological tools do we need?
Standard dieting usually just focuses on eating fewer calories, but you're still eating frequently. That's a mistake. Our true goal here, the only way to reverse this, is creating a prolonged absence of insulin. This just proves a massive rule. When you eat is just as vital as what you eat. Think about it. If you aren't eating, you aren't triggering insulin. That gives your exhausted cell receptors the peace and quiet they desperately need to recover.
And this is exactly why the healthy version of keto works so much better. It specifically supplies these biological locksmiths: zinc, vitamin D, chromium, potassium, magnesium, and B vitamins. These aren't just random supplements you grab off a shelf. They are the exact keys your body needs to dramatically speed up the repair of those broken cell receptors.
Now, if you want to push your results even further, you can directly target the beta cells of the pancreas. Those are the guys actually manufacturing the insulin. You can support them by exercising, actively managing and bringing down your stress levels, optimizing your sleep, and even using specific supplements designed to feed the pancreas directly.
Okay, part 5, 7 signs of improvement. This is the fun part. Let's build some momentum here, because these are 7 undeniable, triumphant milestones that show your body is finally healing.
Now, sure, you could absolutely go to a clinic and get a medical HOMA-IR test to measure your insulin resistance on paper. But honestly, your body is incredibly communicative. You just need to know how to listen to it. Look out for these practical, everyday physical changes. Let's run through them.
So the crucial point is really these first 4 signs. Number 1, your hunger just vanishes. You'll find you can easily go way longer between meals without getting hangry. Number 2, your belly fat disappears, and this is massive because it means the really dangerous fat packed around your organs, especially that liver fat, is finally melting away. Number 3, your blood pressure drops as your arteries become less stiff. Though, quick side note, that specific sign definitely requires vitamin D and can take up to a year. And number 4, you'll likely see your blood sugar numbers improve almost immediately once you start this process.
Building on all that, here are the final 3 signs. Number 5, the end of the dawn phenomenon. You know that annoying, inexplicable high blood sugar you get right when you wake up? Yeah, when that normalizes, it means your adaptation phase is completely done. Number 6, a huge surge in energy. This proves fuel is successfully entering the cells again. They aren't starving anymore. And finally, number 7, you actually feel genuinely satisfied after a meal. The doors are unlocked, the nutrition rushes in, and your body finally gets what it's been begging for all this time.
So, we've walked through the mystery, trekked down the culprits, laid out the formula, and highlighted the magnificent signs of healing. As we wrap up this explainer, the next time you reach for a quick snack, I want you to ask yourself this provocative question. Are you actually feeding your body, or are you just keeping your insulin locked? True health really comes down to whether your cells are even allowed to receive the food you eat. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start opening up the cellular doors today.